So these little chickens that had been hatched by the hen, this one here, we got 2 of them. They were just getting too big for the little house that I set up, and I know you're not gonna be able to see it, but I went and put a little chicken run in there just for them. That way they're still separated from the bigger chickens. The bigger chickens won't pick on them, but they got a little bit more room to spread their wings. You can see that these chickens here aren't coming any further, so that's where the chicken wire is. That gives them a little bit more run room. They're getting big. Had them kind of cooped up for a while, and I didn't realize how big they were getting. They've gotten pretty big. But here in a few days, I don't know, a couple, I guess maybe 3 weeks, the chickens that we got in the house, they'll come out here also. I tell you, it has been raining so much. Everything is wet, muddy, nasty. I hope it stops soon, but we're gonna get more this week. It flooded again on the last rain. When was that? Yesterday? I guess it was yesterday. Carolyn's garden, she says if it rains anymore, the tomatoes aren't gonna survive. And I agree, it's just, there's no way they're gonna survive. They're just drowned in water. Every step you take, you're slopping around. It has rained almost non-stop the entire spring. Well, I would say it snowed, what, 3 weeks in a row, and then it just turned to rain and hasn't stopped. This is really incredible weather. Yeah, the garden is just unmanageable. I mean, look at it. It's just overgrown. We couldn't till it. Her tomatoes. Let's see if we can find a tomato here. It's just sad. Yeah, there's a tomato. This is on the high side, so it's not quite as much water burying it, but you can see you just can't get out here. She's slipping and sliding when she does. It is what it is. It's just a bad year. I guess you just got to live with it. But over here, maybe you'll see the standing water. It's just, here's a tomato. Oh, there's a dead one. That's sad. There's one. But you can see the water, it just stands there. Right here, all that standing water. At least the chickens are doing fine. I mean, it's been muddy. We got the egg production back up. I told you that we had chickens eating eggs, and then we had a stressful day. I brought the IBC tank down here, and I used the saw to cut off the tongue on the chicken coop, and they got really nervous, and 2 of them flew out, and we lost another one. Well, they haven't been producing very well since then, but eggs are back up, so that's going well. So we're getting our diet back up to speed, where we got all the food that we need to eat right here being produced. The chickens, like I said, they'll come out soon. We'll butcher them. I don't know what, maybe in 6 more weeks. So, and we'll hatch some more. We'll incubate some more and hatch them out. So I'm really happy with the success we've had with the chickens. It's a small setup, but it's given us all the nutrition that we need. The other day, and I really like for you to stick with me on this video. I know this isn't necessarily an off-grid video, but if you really think about it, it is. Off-grid food, and the idea behind it. Companies sell us garbage food. So if you get off-grid, you're not eating garbage food, all that processed food. The other day, I was talking about my health and how I've improved over the last year. My health, and I was talking about my lungs. Now, I brought up this person who said she couldn't breathe, she had to be on oxygen all the time. Well, I didn't know at the time that this person only had half a lung. This person clarified and told me that's why she has to be on oxygen. Or this person, I shouldn't say she, I always get in trouble every time I do that. So I want to apologize for assuming that she was having breathing problems like me. She must have serious issues. But she did say, this person said, that she is on a carnivorous diet like us, and she feels a lot better. That's good news. Well, I was talking about how I couldn't breathe last year. I was on this inhaler, and I really didn't know if I was going to be able to continue to live off-grid. I really thought that I was probably going to have to wrap it up within the next few years. I was really disappointed too. And I had no solutions. Well, coincidentally, off subject, had nothing to do with my breathing issues. I started watching this doctor on YouTube. He's not a real big fan of the establishment doctors or the big pharma. I don't even think he practices anymore. I think he teaches, basically. I'm not sure. But he talks about him being on a 100% carnivorous diet and all the benefits of it. He makes 3 or 4 videos a day. Talks about how great the carnivorous diet is. And this guy is just built. I mean, he's, I think he says he's 50, he's a little bit older than me, 56, 55, something like that. I'm 50. And he looks like he's 30, maybe. I mean, just real healthy looking. People accuse him, of course, using steroids, and he swears he doesn't. It's just a carnivorous diet and exercise every day. Well, I won't ever get that way. I'm not as dedicated to it as he is. I eat, I would say, at least an 80% carnivorous diet, which he even says, if you just can't get away from the vegetables, that's fine. You know, eat the green beans. They don't have a lot of carbohydrates. I don't think they have any, actually. And I can't talk as intelligently about it as he can. But I tell you, taking his advice has been a miracle for me. I was telling you last year, I couldn't walk up to the gas station. It's about half a mile away, and it's a straight uphill. And I'd have to take my inhaler with me. Well, now I don't even use the inhaler. So the other day, I walked up the hill and I took my inhaler with me, and I didn't need it. I walked right up, it was fine. I wasn't out of breath, not even in the least. It's like I walked that hill every day for 1,000 years. It didn't wind me or anything. And even for a guy at 50 years old, you would think it would have winded me, but it didn't. And so I made a video about how healthy I've been feeling, and I have nothing to contribute it to except the carnivorous diet. Well, I was surprised to learn, and I was so surprised that I actually got aggravated and called one of my family members to vent, because I got a lot of comments telling me I was wrong. Well, I'm not wrong. And I'll tell you why I'm not wrong. Because I feel better. There's nothing wrong with feeling better. It doesn't matter how I got there. I did. And there's nothing wrong with it. What I found really ironic was I was getting people to tell me their litany of medical conditions. I've got diabetes, I've got, whatever. I mean, it was dozens of people telling me all their conditions and how their doctor tells them they have to eat the vegetables and all the things that I just specifically said don't eat. Well, I didn't tell you don't eat. I was just telling you what I don't eat. I eat meat and tomatoes. That's pretty much all I eat. So here's what I'm hearing. This is what I hear when people are telling me their list of medical conditions. And then says, this is what the doctor says I have to eat so I can continue with my list of medical conditions. So here's what I hear. My doctor tells me he wants me to stay sick, so he's telling me to eat this garbage. I don't have a doctor, except the guy on YouTube, and he's telling me to do something completely different than what all the other doctors doing, and I don't have a list of medical conditions. As a matter of fact, at 50 years old, I'm getting better without any medications. I'm not taking any medications. The Primatene Mist that I was taking, which is an over-the-counter medication, I'm not taking anymore. So I'm actually getting rid of the medications, getting older and getting better. But that's not the right way to do it. What you're supposed to do, according to the comment section, is eat garbage, take medication, and have a list of medical conditions, and then say, that's how you're supposed to do it. Well, I'm just not going to. This is why I live off grid, because I do it exactly the opposite of everybody else. People are hooked up to the electric line. I have solar panels. People get water from the city, have lead poisoning, have all kinds of chemicals in their water. I don't. I get it out of the well, and then I filter it with a Berkey water filtration system. Now, here's what I find really interesting. Is Carolyn could have been, I think she actually was for a while, a vegetarian. I mean, she likes vegetables, but she's been doing the carnivorous diet as well. Now, wait a minute. A vegetarian is insisting on eating eggs, even though she doesn't want to eat eggs. Why is she doing this? Now, Carolyn has suffered with mental illness her entire life. She has done a lot of things to get better, and one of the things she did was just is aware of it. And so we can work together, and when she's having anxiety or a depression episode, you know, these things don't just, you know, I'm depressed one day, you know, and then the next day she's fine. These episodes last for days and weeks. When she has anxiety, She hates the world. Well, she hasn't had anxiety or depression at all in the last year. As a matter of fact, she has a family member that isn't doing well in the hospital right now, and she's deeply concerned about it. I mean, deeply concerned. Now, a few years ago when her daughter got sick, it was pretty hard for Carolyn to emotionally deal with that. It was really difficult. But now she's on this carnivorous diet. She is handling this much better. I mean, you can see that she's definitely concerned, and it weighs on her mind very heavily. But she's not in this anxiety and depressed mood right now. As a matter of fact, Carolyn doesn't talk on the phone, period. But here she is, calling every day, making sure that she can talk to the family member. That's not something anxiety allows her to do. So she was trying to understand, what is it about meat products that's making her feel better? Well, guess what? My doctor talked about this just a few days ago. She asked today, what is making her feel better? And the doctor said, meat has stuff in it that vegetables don't for mental health. One of the things is iron. A lot of people have an iron deficiency because they don't get enough meat. Choline, I'm not going to be able to pronounce all these things, so just bear with me. But choline is something that meat has that vegetables don't. All these things, if you have not enough of it, you're going to suffer from depression and anxiety and those mental health issues. Another one I found very interesting, low cholesterol. If you have low cholesterol, there's studies that show that you will suffer from anxiety and depression more often than those who have plenty of cholesterol. Another thing is carnitine and then carnosine. I find it interesting how many people told me, no, Rob, you need energy. You got to have carbohydrate energy. Well, you got to have carbohydrate energy if you don't have enough protein in your system. I have plenty of protein. I don't need energy. I've got everything I need from the meat. I just find it ironic. So many people told me I was wrong, even though I'm feeling better. They don't feel good, but I'm wrong. It is incredible how this country has gotten so trusting of doctors. And I even said that in the last video. You can't trust doctors anymore. We learned that through the pandemic. I mean, what do they have? What do that makes them so smart? I need you to come back to my office every day, or once a month, or once a week. So in order to do that, I need to keep you sick. Doctors are not interested in getting you better. Doctors are interested in keeping you coming back to them so they can medicate you so you'll come back again. It's a real racket. So if you'll take a look at that super thanks button down there at the bottom, I really appreciate it. I hope I can inspire you to think about what you're saying about your health. I'm sick, but I'm doing it right. Doesn't make sense. So you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.